Hey everyone. Today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about a story about my wife who likes to have her back cracked. And it's always a little scary because so she asked me to crack it. The way that we did is we used to do it by um, kind of, you stand behind the person, they kind of cross their arms, and then you lift them up. And when you lift them up, kind of putting pressure on their back, and then that way it'll crack it. And that's how we used to do it. But we found it's a little bit more effective if we do it. We were kind of watching. She loves to watch chiropractor videos. So there's, I don't even know how many YouTubers she watches that likes to kind of crack backs, and I know there's some ASMR ones that also kind of do the back cracking. But essentially, the preferred way that we've been seeing it is so she'll lay down, face down, and then from there, she'll breathe out, and then I go to the top of her back, kind of right near her shoulder blades, like in the middle, and then I'll put pressure down there and it'll crack. And every time I get a little worried because for me, I think cracking backs or necks or anything like that, except for like knuckles, like I think like hands and those are totally fine for me to crack. But I know sensitive areas like the back and the neck, just because anything that goes wrong there, you could have some unfortunate outcomes. And so I'll regularly crack her back, but at the same time, in the back of my head, I have this like nightmare scenario of, you know, doing a crack and then suddenly like she's like not there, or like, I get this reaction like, well, what did I do? What's going on? I could call the hospital or like call 911, and then I get like images of like her parents or my family like, why would you do that? What's going on? Um, so we do that pretty often, but I try not to press too hard. And usually her back will crack pretty often, and it works out. For me, I'm not too big of a fan. So as you can see on my on my thumbnail, it's for me kind of getting massages or getting like any kind of chiropractic treatment. For me, is a little uncomfortable. Actually, have an experience with my brother-in-law. He he'd never cracked the back like that before, where they were face down and um, and they cracked someone's back. And so I had just finished cracking my wife's back, and then he said, "Oh, have you ever had your back cracked?" And then he told me if I wanted to get it cracked, and I was like, "Oh, okay, well, let me try it." So I laid down, and I'd never got any crack like this because my wife doesn't do it to me. I just crack her back, but I was like, okay, try it out. Try it out. So he was gonna go crack it, and then I laid down, and then he starts like I breathe out. I tell him I'm gonna breathe out, and you're gonna put pressure. So I breathe out. He puts pressure. Boom, and I don't remember if it cracked or not. But I thought like, oh, okay, like he put quite a lot of pressure. And so when you're breathing out and also you're getting your back pushed in, like you can't really breathe. And so I thought, oh, okay, well, I don't think it cracked. So I kept going. Or to be honest, like it was all kind of a blur because the next thing he did was he thought, okay, well, let me keep going. And so as soon as he let go of the pressure, he put it back on and he was cracking it. And then he ended up doing that like around like 8, 9 times. And so he was like, pressure, and then letting go immediately, and then pressure. And so the whole time I was going like, huh, huh, like, like I was really struggling to catch breath. And he wasn't doing it out of malice or anything. He just really wanted to crack, really wanted to get in there. And I remember it like, because the thing is, I couldn't talk. I couldn't say like, oh, stop, like, well, go ahead and stop doing it because it's cracked already, or like enough. So I tried to like signal to my wife and my sister, I'm like, hey, I can't breathe. I thought the huh would be signal enough, but turns out it wasn't. So I started kind of like moving my legs, like my legs were flailing. And then afterwards, my sister was like, she's like, oh, I thought you were just loving it, because your legs were like kicking. You look like you were having a great time. And so when he finally stopped after like 8, 9 times, I was dying. I couldn't even breathe. And then I started talking to them. I was like, what were you guys doing? You didn't see me like moving my legs? And they were like, yeah, we saw it. We just thought you were like having a great time. And they were laughing. They were just cracking up, because they thought, because they didn't realize the situation afterwards. It was a little too late, but so that's kind of what we did. That was my experience with getting my back cracked. Um, One thing I won't do is I won't crack my neck, my wife's neck, just because that for me is really dangerous, with the potential to cause like strokes, like form clots and then cause strokes. So that's something that I don't do. But as far as backs, I'll do it, but a little lightly. So let me know if you do anything similar, if you've had a similar experience where someone cracked your back and repeatedly. um, so thank you so much for listening, and I hope you enjoyed.